Hello fellow Star Citizens, this is Mackie. Today we're going to do a quick performance test of the PTU 2.1 version. Just to see how stable the current game is and how long we can actually run the game. So we're going to do several gameplays and then compare them to see what the average gameplay time is. So without further ado, let's start. First out we got the play session number 1. This one lasted 47 minutes. And I used the Super Hornet to test. During this gameplay, well, it was pretty good overall, but I encountered some bugs, of course. And the one that first noticed was that my thrusters didn't respond at all. I couldn't move sideways. And, well, more exactly, the ship was uncontrollable and really sluggish in the movements. More exactly, I crashed into everything because I just couldn't move my ship on the sides at all. It was like a brick. It's the first time I've ever encountered this bug, so it was really interesting to see how the ships are totally disabled without the thrusters. Other than that, I was also unable to spawn the constellation on the number 9 or 10 pads or landing pads, even though they were empty. And this is also a new bug that I've never encountered before. I even went to the window to look outside just to see if there was any ships around them that could probably block the spawning area, but there wasn't anything, and this happened during several gameplays. But yeah, so those were the two main bugs that I could figure out or remember from this game test. I've reviewed the footage and that I'm also going to post later on, and these were the two bugs that I encountered. This play session ended after 47 minutes and with a freeze crash entering 2913-UEE620. This is one of the missions after activating it at the satellites. And this is the one with the ice asteroid. So I was just flying in there and all of a sudden the game just froze. And then, yeah, it just crashed, so, or more exactly. So it was a bit of a mix, freeze, crash, but I would say more exactly that it was a freeze. And then I had to force quit the game through the active, I don't know what you call it in English, but in Swedish we call it aktivitetshandlaren. But in English, yeah, it's the one window where that Windows have where you can look over your active programs and then you can force quit them from there. So I had to Alt-tab and then just force it to end. During playtest number 2, this time it lasted only 29 minutes, and I used the Super Hornet again. And this time we had a little different kind of bugs, more exactly. When trying to get my ship, the Super Hornet, the landing gear wasn't there, and this is a bug that I've encountered on almost every ship. But it's the single player ships, not the multiplayer ships, but the single player ships. So this has happened on the Super Hornet, on the Freelancer, and I've seen it happen on the M50. I've seen it happen on the, I don't know what the other ship is, the racing one. Yeah, anyway, it's happened on a lot of different ships. The landing gear are just isn't deployed when the ship spawns. So instead you get a ship that's on the ground, and when you try to lift up, then then the landing gear is deployed, and yeah, it just makes stuff really wonky at best. And don't even get me started on the automated landing system, because what that does is that you're probably more or less freezed when you're trying to launch. You can just sit there waiting on the automated landing to activate, and then it lifts you up, and then you sit there. If that was a PvP area, you would be dead. You wouldn't have a chance. But I haven't put that as a bug because I'm not sure if that's a feature or if that should be counted as a bug. And then we have the weird part. I was in combat, and my ship got badly injured, so I decided to use the Quantum to get the hell out of there. So I used Quantum, I activated it, and I warped away. And all of a sudden my screen just went black. And all I could hear during the black screen was the audio in my headphones, and that was how my character, it was like it was choking or something, like the lungs were filling with blood, or yeah, I watched too much TV series. Like the lungs were filling with blood and they were choking on it or something. It sounded really disturbing, to say the least, but that was happened. So I just got this black screen. I could exit through the game menu, and then of course when using the game menu to exit the game, that results in a crash of the game. And yeah, so that was the playtest number 2, and then we of course will continue to playtest number 3. So during playtest number 3, this one lasted 25 minutes. You can see we have a pretty much the same length of the gameplays. It's not very long, but around half an hour, 40 minutes. And this time I used the Super Hornet as well. And yeah, like I said, it was 25 minutes, same issues. This time I actually had my landing gear, which was surprising enough. And after playing some, I decided to go to Cryastro to repair and rearm. And as I was flying closer and closer, all of a sudden my game just crashed. And this was at Cryastro Service 042 station. And this is not a new bug. This is something that's happened several times before. But however, what I noticed this time was because I was trying to find the second Cryastro service station, because I'm pretty sure there has been 2, but they might have removed one. But the other one has disappeared, because I couldn't find it through my quantum jump points. So I flew to this one several times, and it happened more than once, which I'll go through in just a second. But this was the PlayStation number 2, and as you can see, this was one of the never mind, let's just continue. And this is PlayStation number 4. As you can see, this was a bit longer, 1 hour and 15 minutes. As you can also can see, the bugs list is a bit longer, more exactly a lot longer. So I also used the Super Hornet this time, and once again the landing gear was not deployed. I was unable to spawn the multi-crew ships for some reason, because I looked again and there wasn't any ships and there wasn't anything. And when flying around during this 1.5 hour or 1 hour and 50 minutes, I didn't see any multi-crew ships. So I'm pretty sure I'm not alone having this bug. And then when I got to the mission satellites and I was gonna go out from a Super Hornet to EVA into the satellite and activate it, the animation began when using Control F to exit the vehicle. The animation began for me floating up, and then exactly the same second that the animation ended for me leaving the vehicle, I was just catapulted away. It just went up, 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 and I just disappeared. So I had to use Alt-GR backspace to respawn. And that leaves us into the next bug. The looping audio from the police NPCs about hostiles incoming, and yeah. So they were talking for a few seconds after I spawned, so it wasn't like it continued for a very long period, but it was looping. So I could hear him saying that, oh, we got hostiles incoming, oh no, it's good. And then, yeah, they continue like that until I got out of the bed. So it was like the state of my character was in a limbo between still being there and respawning and actually being here in the station. But yeah, not a big bug, but still a bug. And then we have, of course, the ship being badly injured and using the quantum results in a black screen, and the character sounding like they're choking on something. Could be a bad chicken stew or just blood, I don't know. Anyway, that's the second time the quantum drive thingy happened, and at both times I had an injured ship, so I don't know if it's a feature or a bug, but if it's a bug then it's a really annoying one, because I was waiting quite a while to actually get out of this well, passed out state, but it never happened. It was like I was just there. And if it's a feature, then they really need to fix it, because I can understand that if your ship is badly injured and you go into those speeds, that your person can't handle it, but then they also have to make it so you can see where you are, get help, or that your ship sends out a distress beacon or anything. But you have to be able to have a chance to actually recover from it, so I can get somewhere. Let my character be really groggy, so I'll have blurred sight or something, but I can still get somewhere, but I need medical attention. Anyway, that was playtest number 4, so let's continue to number 5. So, number 5, this only one lasted 13 minutes, so this is a new, I don't know what to call it really. I used the Constellation Andromeda this time, so I actually got the multi-crew ships out. But the weird thing here is that I got some weird lag, some really strange lag using the multi-crew ships. And this did not only happen when using the Andromeda, but also when I used the Freelancer. I actually had 8 clips, but I decided to remove 2 of them because when using the Freelancer, I lagged like crazy. I have no idea what's wrong with the ship, but I have one play session where I just fell through the Freelancer, and this was on the landing pad. I had spawned my ship, I went through it, I could walk on the exit hatch on the rear, but when I tried to go into the actual ship, where the hatch ends and the ship starts, I just fell through. So what I did, which was a bit sneaky, was that I went to the front of the ships, jumped, and when I got the interact option, I used that and could fly my ship. But the same thing happened when I tried to exit in space. I had to actually EVA under the ship to get back inside. So it wasn't exactly the best workaround, but it worked. So yeah, that's definitely a bug on the Freelancer, but I haven't seen anyone else get the bug, so maybe I was just lucky or something. Anyway, Freelancer and Andromeda have some weird lag using multi-crew ships. I don't know if it's just me or if it was my Windows updating or something, but it happened several times, at least 3 or 4 gameplays, so it's not something that's happened during one play session. And I've also restarted my game between this play session. I've also restarted the client just to be sure that I did several different things to see if this happened again, and it did. And then we have, of course, here again, we have Cryastro Service Station 042. I went there to repair my ship because, as I'll show in video clips that I will release later, I'm going to release every single clip of this so it can be reviewed if anyone wants to, or just see how crappy I fly at times. I lost pretty much the entire side of my ship on the Andromeda. I had no engines, I had nothing on my right side, I think, or was it left side? Anyway, I was flying with one engine, so that was pretty interesting. And also why I love Star Citizen, the details, so awesome. Anyway, this is the play session number 5, so let's get to the last one and we'll end this video. The last one was 1 hour and 5 minutes, so now we're actually getting up to a pretty long play session. However, this time I used both the Freelancer and the Super Hornet. I started with the Freelancer, and after a while I got this weird lag again, so I decided to, no, this isn't playable. So I thought, okay, wait, I'm not gonna end this game, I'm gonna respawn and I'm gonna get my Super Hornet and see if it works, which it did. So that's pretty clear. It's something with the Freelancer. It's not my computer, not all the way at least. It's something 50-50 or 75-50, 75% meaning in the game and 25 with my computer. Anyway, what I noticed here, as you can see on the screen, is that F stands for the Freelancer and SH means the Super Hornet. So when I first spawned the Freelancer, I went inside and we have the cargo area, which is the long area at the end. Then we have a small airlock between the crew compartment and the cargo area. And this little area had a weapon mount inside it. I have no clue exactly what weapon mount it's connected to or exactly what it's called, but it was white with a long metal piece thingy, and that was stuck in the middle in waist height and around my waist of the character. It was in the middle of the ship. Luckily I could walk around it, but I couldn't walk through it. So it was a solid object in the middle of the ship that doesn't belong to the freelancer at all, so I have no idea where it got from. And once again, the freelancer didn't have any landing gear deployed, and neither did the Super Hornet when I spawned with that later on. Another interesting part is that, yeah, okay, we'll get to that later. Another interesting part is that when I was at Comma Ray 849 doing the combat against the NPCs there in my freelancer, all of a sudden my weapons just stopped working. First I thought, okay, maybe they've blown up because I was shooting so much, so I thought either they're disabled or someone shot them off. But nope, nothing. The interesting part is also that my shields on the freelancer didn't move. I was watching that very carefully, and there was nothing happening with the shields, and I got some pretty rough handling from the pirates there. They were kicking my ass pretty much because I was trying to use this freelancer as the Super Hornet, and well, the freelancer is nothing as agile as the Super Hornet. It's more like a space rock or a truck, yeah. But yeah, so I have no idea what happened. So I looked down and I saw that, okay, my main weapons are red. So I activated them again, tried shooting again, nothing happened. So I deactivated them, try activating them again, nothing happened. So I have no idea what happened. I was in the middle of combat, all of a sudden they deactivate. I couldn't shoot, understandable if they're deactivated, so I activated them and nothing. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't lock missiles, I couldn't shoot my weapons. It was like the ship just decided to, no, I don't want to. You suck as a pilot, so I don't want to play with you anymore. So yeah, so that was pretty much it. So I decided to quantum out of there because it felt like this isn't giving me anything. And while in quantum, all of a sudden my ship just blows up in the middle of the quantum. And all I can see in my screen is the same weapon mount that was spawned in the middle of my ship, but this time there's like 8 of them all around where the ship layout was before. So instead of an actual ship in space, I just have all these weapon mounts in quantum drive space and my character floating away dead. So that was a really interesting way to die, and I have no idea what is conflicting there with the freelancer and some kind of other weapon mounts. It's like 2 different models, either they named similar or it's something other. I don't know coding, so I'm not going to go into that even. I'm not going to touch that subject. Anyway, during this play session we had my Super Hornet, and I was flying around in the ship, and all of a sudden I noticed that, wait a minute, I don't have any ship UI. I can't see who I'm targeting. I can't see my weapon status. I can't see anything. And I was a bit, okay, what's going on? So I decided to go to Cryastor service station. And when I'm there, I'm slowing down, and all of a sudden the UI is back. I can see my weapon status, I can see who I'm targeting, I can see my speed, I can see everything, I can see the ship UI. So I start accelerating, and I can see that the ship UI getting closer and closer and closer to my character's head and my helmet. And as I start speeding up, it continues towards my head, and it continues behind my head and disappears. And as I decelerate, the ship UI comes close to my head, and then in front of my head, and then gets to where it should be. And then as I start accelerating again, it does the same. So for some reason, the ship or the ship UI wasn't static, staying there where it should be, but instead it was moving with the ship. So it noticed that, okay, I belong to this ship, but I have no idea where exactly I'm gonna be. It didn't move sideways, or yeah, a little bit, but not a lot. But it was like it was trying to follow some other thing. I have no exactly... Yeah, like I said, I don't know coding, so I have no idea what happened. But it was very interesting to see how the ship UI went behind me when accelerating, going higher speeds, and when going to a complete stop, it went to where it should be. However, jumping out of the ship and jumping back into the ship solved this issue. So it wasn't a game-breaking issue, but was kind of weird, and maybe you don't always want to jump out from your ship. However, this 1 hour and 5 minute gameplay ended with, me trying to leave Cryastro Service Station 042 by going to Quantum. And when trying to leave, all of a sudden I went into Quantum, and then I just saw how everything went in reverse, and I just rubber banded into the actual Cryastro station, just slamming into it sideways, resulting in pretty much my my rear and my side of the ship was completely red, completely destroyed. So I couldn't move, and I was like, I could jump out of my ships to land on the actual repair platform. So that was really annoying, because I was right there next to the platform, but I couldn't repair my ship. So that's when I decided I had enough, so I ended the gameplay there. So I didn't crash this time, which is important to note. 5 of the other gameplays I actually crashed. This one I didn't. Let's be honest, 4 of the other gameplay I crashed, and 2 of them I had to force quit because I got black screen. And this time I just had enough, because, well, too much issues and too many bugs, so I didn't feel like continue. But then also, before I end this video, I have to really put a point on the fact that this is the PTU server. So this is not the live server, but this is the PTU server, and this is the 2.1 version. The current live version is the 2.0 version, and that's really important to remember. But at the same time, I was there testing the 2.0 version, and I can honestly say that I'm not sure I agree with releasing that to the live server, even though I can understand the pressure that CIG is under. So I definitely understand the reason for releasing it, and it was a big milestone, and I want to see Squadron 42, and I want to see my Starfarer. I really want to see that in my hangar so I can walk around it, because I'm in love with that ship for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway, I want to see the game progress, which it is doing at the moment. We're seeing small steps. We're also seeing them having an actual schedule now, with releasing patches once a month. We'll see how that works out. But it feels like their speed is actually increasing now quite a lot. So we're gonna see bugs. This is still alpha, and yeah, bugs are here. And this is also why I'm doing this video, because I want to show you that the average gameplay session time is around 30 to 40 minutes, but it can also change depending on your luck. It can be over an hour, up to 2 hours, depending how lucky you are. But it can also be like 15 minutes if you're really unlucky. However, during all of these gameplay, I've had some great times. I had some awesome experience. I've met people, I've talked to people. Some session I haven't talked to anyone. I've just flown around the PvP station, just waiting for someone to engage me, because, well, we have a rule in my corporation, well, not my corporation, in the one I'm in, where we have a rules of engagement where we only engage if we're engaged. It sounds like a marriage. Anyway, so yeah, I'm getting off track here. So anyway, this is the 6 videos. I'm gonna upload those separately, and I hope you enjoyed and found this video a bit informative, and you get an understanding of the current status of 2.1 on the PTU. So without further ado, this is Mackie signing off.